a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
Welcome, folks, to Fifth Street Sports on a beautiful Thursday afternoon in Las Vegas. We're on Sports Byline USA. We're also on iHeartRadio, American Forces Network, and you can find us on Facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk. My name's Frank Perez. I'm joined with my co-host, Oklahoma Brian, and today we got a special guest in the house, Chip Chirimbes.
How you doing, Frank?
He's a long-timer from Vegas, been in the industry. Brian, I think you might have not even been in diapers when Chip started placing his first wagers.
I started in 1987. That was when I had left teaching.
I was well out of diapers.
Oh, so Brian, now Chip has a lot in common with you. You know, he was a former school teacher in Connecticut and gave up the industry to become sports bettor.
Sports handicapper, shall we say?
Sports handicapper.
That sounds familiar. It sounds like we have a similar past.
Yeah, so, like before we, so we're going to really have a great show here with Chip after we come back from our commercial break. But before that, in our last, minute and a half segment that we have on the early one, let's recap yesterday, Brian. I think you gave out Milwaukee. Is that in the NBA?
That was Florida Rick, actually.
Oh, Florida Rick, right. And then Waz gave out Mississippi.
Big winner.
We had
big winner.
And then Miami, the Miami Hurricanes plus 10, they covered. And then we had one. No, Tulsa didn't. Was it
Tulsa's tonight?
TCU
didn't.
Was like
yeah. TCU. So yesterday we go 3-1. It was a nice day. Today we should have some real good stuff. Chip's here. He's going to give us a little bit of his stuff maybe in the third segment. He can add it on with our wagers. But you look like you're in the library again.
I'm in an undisclosed location. Can't
Okay, Brian. We don't. Boy, you're getting like Rockford now. We can't find Rockford anywhere.
Very nefarious industry,
Yeah. Boy, all you guys. I mean, thank goodness at least you use your real name for that. Chip uses his real name too. But guys. Okay, we're going to get ready here because we got to. It's our short break. We got to take a small time out. My name's Frank Perez, Oklahoma Brian. We got Chip Chirimbes. When we come back, we're going to start the show. We'll be right back, folks. Okay, man.
Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low Cost Airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
All right, guys, I have Brian on the phone on my end.
800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. That's 800-296-1252.
Attention to anyone that's written a book or wants to write a book. The process is not that complicated. Take a first step. Even if you write a page a day, you'll build momentum and your book will become a reality. The hard part is getting it published. That's when you need to call Page Publishing. They've got hundreds and hundreds of thank yous from different new authors, just like you. They make the process of publishing your new book and getting it sold online a simple process. You can learn how simple it is right now by calling for your free Page Publishing new author submission kit. One quick 3-minute phone call, that's all it takes to get free information and learn how you can get your book published. Pick up your phone right now and call us 24 hours a day at this number. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. That's 800-603-0885.
And I guess they passed.
Guys, we're back. Fifth Street Sports. We got a great show. We got Chip Chirimbes in the house. We're going to have Oklahoma Brian, my co-host. He's going to be calling in on the show. I mean, he is on the line. You won't be able to see his face, which I like talking to him when I can see him on the screen. But we got to do what we got to do. He was coming a little echoey. We are on Sports Byline USA, iHeartRadio. We're also streaming on American Forces, but we got Chip in the house. Brian, why don't you say hello to Chip here, one of the old school guys.
Hey, Chip, how's it going?
All right, Brian. How are things in Oklahoma? I did some time there in the Army. Fort Sill.
Did some time. Well, okay. Yeah, I'm over on the eastern half of the state in Tulsa. And, just kind of a dreary, cold, windy, typical Oklahoma day.
Spent some time chasing the Sooners in those days. They had Greg Pruitt. If you remember him.
Yeah, those are some good teams. Yeah.
Hey, Brian, I'm gonna open this up because we want to go back to the beginning of Chip's career. Because he's kind of got a little bit in common with you too, since he was a teacher in school. He used to teach in Connecticut,
yep.
and then you came over to sports betting and handicapping.
Well, sports betting isn't legal in Connecticut, so it has to be handicapping.
Right.
But back in those days, my partner and I, who started a business called the A-Play, I used to make parlay cards with our own lines. My father was a printer, and I used to sneak into his print shop, and I would typeset it, and I would set it up, and I would distribute these parlay cards, book them myself, and distribute them in bars around, the locale in the county, and I used to get them through the high schools as well, through because I was a coach. I was a baseball coach, a basketball official, and assistant football coach. So the athletes used to spread these parlay cards around, and then every Friday night and Saturday morning, we'd gather at my place, and I'd put them together.
Beautiful, and
wow, that's really impressive. So you actually came up with the numbers yourself.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we'd get, you'd get hurt. But speaking about the numbers, I mean, when I first moved out here in '87, the Stardust would put out the numbers every Sunday night about 6 o'clock, and there was no internet, and there used to be a bank of phones at the Stardust where everybody would get those numbers, and then they would run and call back east or call Kansas City or whoever they called to give them the parlay card numbers off the board from the Stardust, the real numbers. And, of course, there'd be an adjustment big time by Monday morning. So
right. I remember those payphones right outside the Stardust. I used to say to myself, I wonder, boy, whoever owned those, I mean, it was crazy out there.
And you know what? The funny thing about it is, and then all of a sudden when we started going to the cell phones, you weren't allowed to use your cell phones in the sports books, and yet now you can have a cell phone and you can call with your own account and bet the game in the same casino you're sitting in or another casino. while you're sitting there watching with your phone. So they've adjusted to that. I think they were a little afraid of what could possibly happen.
Yeah. Brian, you've never been in Vegas when they didn't let you use cell phones. Well, look, like we couldn't bet on the Rebels. We couldn't use cell phones or tablets.
No Nevada games.
No, I'm a little bit older than you realize, Frank. No, I remember all of those things. I remember walking to the counter and putting my phone on speaker, so I could read numbers to somebody at a computer who could figure out what to send me to go bet. So or how about you remember back in the day trying to take pictures of props
couldn't do that.
Tote board, so you could send them back to a kind of an air traffic control guy to coordinate what you should be betting.
Yeah, I was filling Chip in because we want to get his. I love to hear all the successful guys, how they started, how they transitioned over to sports. But I was telling Chip just how sharp you are. You get the great info, all the early line moves, how you spy on accounts, steal info, the whole deal. But I want to hear from Chip. Okay, Chip. So you get away from the academics, and then you start your parlay cards.
Yeah, like I said, my father owned a print shop, so I used to go in and we started with actually a simple newsletter, and we would hustle them all around Fairfield County, New Haven, Bridgeport, and go into Manhattan, and those little newsstands they would have, and I would personally deliver them, and that's how it all started. We had my partner and I had a pretty good feel and a pretty good knack on what was going on with these numbers in these games, and I think it's a lot more difficult now. I think it's a lot more sophisticated now than it used to be. We used to be able to sit there and just pick what we wanted. It was like picking cherries, and if we went 3-2 on a Sunday, we were kind of upset. I mean, we were looking for 4-1 and 5-0. That's all there was to it.
Wow. So, Brian, now how over there in Oklahoma? In your earlier days, would you ever find parlay cards in bars or newsstands or anything like that?
Well, I didn't grow up here. I've only been here for about 10 years. But sure, parlay cards are kind of the gateway drug. I hate to use that analogy. It's such a negative analogy. But, they've always been kind of the gateway, let's just say facilitator for books to pick out players, and it's also a great way if you're trying to track down local outs, and you see a parlay card, you kind of follow the money. It usually leads to a bookmaker. So yeah, I've kind of used parlay cards as a get to know you method for bookmakers, but. A town this size, I've basically been through every bookmaker in Tulsa. I'm not really welcome to bet with anyone here. So, but yeah, it's definitely something that I think as gamblers, we've all kind of been down that road at one point, either looking for players or for books.
Exactly. So, Chip, obviously now you guys were talented enough to put out your own numbers.
Right.
So what? And then at that point, you probably had enough confidence in yourself that you said, you know what, I think I can come to Vegas, come to the big time in Vegas, and make money doing
Well,
that.
what happened was, believe it or not, it's difficult to generate action when you have. You really didn't have a marketing plan, as I didn't. All I knew is I had an ability to single out a game, and the single strongest game, and we called our company the A play. I was a teacher, so we were going, as opposed to the B or C play, we go, the A play of the day is. And the problem became where people wanted more action. I can post one game a Sunday or one game a Saturday and win, but if I had very few customers, so we had to adjust and change in that regard to open it up.
Right.
But these parlay card counts, I was so fastidious with numbers. I would get, say, 1,500 of these tickets, and I would chart every single game, and I would know exactly how much money I had on each game and who I needed. And at the beginning, I didn't understand that when you have 200 people on one side and only 3 on the other, that you're better off taking the side with only 3, because this line has been created as an inducement.
Right.
Come get me.
Right.
And it took me a little while to adjust to that. And that once I did that, and I just said I'm making more money gambling on the side than I am teaching. It was so bad, so I left the teaching, and like I said, my father was a printer, so we started printing our own newsletter and distributing it. But getting to Las Vegas was a matter of I had a girlfriend who was a bartender, and she was working a private party for the U.S. Open, the Women's Open in Fairfield, Connecticut. Okay. And I met a couple of people from ABC Sports. And I was talking to them, and I pitched them a show, a sports gambling show. Okay. And they said to me, well, what makes you think you can do this? And I said, I do 5 live shows a day. I'm a teacher. I sit there. I got 30 kids. Right. I says I can handle a half hour, an hour, and they gave me the name of somebody in Manhattan, and I went in and started at a local cable show on Manhattan, which is all porn now. And okay. Right, and then after 2 years, I hooked up with American Sports Advisors, and then Jim Feist out here started his own show. Right. And at that point, I sold my show to Jim, and I became part of his Proline show out here. So I did 13 years with that before I told you it became costs prohibitive. We just couldn't do it anymore.
Right. Wow. You know what? We got about 20 or 25 seconds before we got to go to a break. But when we come back, we're going to follow up on that, Chip. I want to see how your career did with all these big guys, Jim Feist, right. Ness, Wayne Root.
Working with Wayne every day.
All the big guys. Guys, we'll be right back. We got to take a small time out. Brian, when we come back, we're going to start from day one here in Vegas with Chip. But, folks, we'll be back 3 minutes, 5th Street Sports. Don't go anywhere.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down, 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Being a new parent means every high and low you can imagine. But Evos can make it all easier with a baby monitor you can trust. Go to myevos.com, that's MYEVOZ.com, to see how Evos can be the eyes and ears of your nursery. Evos works with your smartphone to provide a live audio and HD video connection to your baby anytime and anywhere. On a date, at work, away on business, even serving your country overseas, Evos helps you never miss a moment. Whether your baby is with a sitter, your partner, a grandparent, or a friend, you'll be right there too. And with unique features like smart alerts that know the difference between a barking dog and your baby crying, extensive sleep tracking data, and state-of-the-art security features for your peace of mind, Evos is the smart baby monitor for connected parents. And enter the code SPORTS at checkout for $20 off. That's myevos.com. MYEVOZ.com.
Attention business owners. Are you struggling while waiting for your customers to pay on their net 30, 60, or 90-day invoices? Can't get a business loan? Have no equity? Bad credit? Or maybe no credit at all? Then you need to call AmeriFactors right now. AmeriFactors will give you cash for your invoices and there's nothing to pay back. We simply buy your account receivables, and if those clients don't pay on the invoices, we take the loss. We give you funds based on your account receivables, not your credit, and 98% of all applicants are approved. It's that simple. With AmeriFactors, there's no more waiting for your customers to pay. We give you the funds up front, then we wait for your customers to pay us. Fund your business today. Call AmeriFactors right now.
800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. That's 800-847-1183.
All right, guys, we're back. Fifth Street Sports on Sports Byline USA. I have my co-host Oklahoma Brian on the phone, and we have a great guest in the house, Chip Chirimbes today. By the way, we're also on the American Forces Network, and we're streaming live, guys. We got a great show on iHeart, so don't ever miss that in case you're on the road. But Chip, so Brian, we left off with Chip, so now he's in Vegas, and he joins the group with Feist, Larry Ness, Wayne Root.
Wayne wasn't here at the time. He was still in New York pulling his stunts there. And then he came out after, I had been here 3 years, and then he came out. And he's from Yonkers, and we became pretty fast friends right away. And he's very knowledgeable, and I think he's a square business guy. He's open and, trying his best.
Right. He was good at it, too, right?
Oh, yeah. We discuss it all the time.
Hang on. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, so at this point, we are in the mid to late 80s, I'm guessing. Right? Is that about right?
I'm having trouble hearing.
Yeah, about. I think it was about. I think we're about what, like 1987 right now.
I got out here in '87, and that's when we started with Proline, and I think.
Okay.
I think that Wayne came out here around in 1990 or 1989, and around there, and
So would you describe your handicapping method at that point to be
I'm a
or psychological?
I'm a numbers guy. I'm a contrarian. When I see numbers that just don't look right, like for example Houston being a 1-point favorite at home after having won the division, I was very suspect about that. And it looked to me like Indianapolis was the side the whole way. I usually garner a lot of information, not only from parlay cards, but I'd like to get a feel for what the media is trying to portray about a certain game, how they deliver you to one side or another. And I just try to go against the flow for the most part. And if I first see a number that looks a little suspicious. Last night in college basketball, we had, I think it was Houston was a 1-point favorite at Temple, and they were undefeated. And I said, well, they're telling me that Temple has to win, so I used Temple, and that worked out.
Okay.
And by the way, bro, I also had Milwaukee on top last night, which that line, the number, Milwaukee being favored at Houston. Here's Houston winning 14 out of 16 games, and now they're an underdog at home after beating Golden State out on the West Coast. So it didn't make sense to me. So I did have Milwaukee in that one, and they won easy.
Nice.
Hey, Brian, let me ask you something. I mean, because are all you ex-teachers have the same MO? Because you're the biggest contrarian there is.
I think to be a successful bettor in this day, I think that's one of the sharpest tools in your toolbox is the ability to kind of come to a idea of what the public is thinking and be ready to go against the public. Absolutely, I think all successful gamblers seem to share that attribute.
I agree with you, Brian. And you know what the problem now, Frank, is that there's so much information, and there's so many people that are playing the wise guy side or the sharp side, and they don't even realize it. But this is counterbalanced the public for a good part. And you must be aware of this, Brian. You have to be very, very careful now because it doesn't come to us the way it used to. I mean, it takes a little bit more consternation, shall I say, or I have to really study it a little bit longer than I used to, because I used to be able to just look at it and go, oh, look at that number, that's off. This is askew. It's a feel you have, and I'm sure Brian knows when he looks at it. He has an evaluation of how good these teams are, and then when you see a number that looks bogus, it draws your attention, and it draws the public's attention, and hopefully the public's going the other way.
Yeah. Totally agree. And Chip, wouldn't you say that one of the frustrating things about our current state of betting is that the public has actually become much sharper than
Absolutely.
They were, 10, 20 years ago.
Absolutely. I think the internet has done that. I think the internet has changed a lot out there, and this is what I said. I have to be a little bit. You have to be a little bit more careful than it used to be, where I just look at it and go, well, I'm taking this side no matter what. Well, it doesn't always happen that way anymore.
Yeah. Wow.
I think that phenomenon is really illustrated in the beginning of the season. 10, 15 years ago, that used to be one of the best times of the year for sharp bettors.
Yep.
Was the very beginning of college basketball, beginning of college football, and now the public seems to dominate the first 4 or 5 weeks of college football because that information that the average, Joe has is so much better. He's got
Absolutely
the internet and up-to-date magazines, so that's really changed.
I was telling Frank that I give out a big game. I call it a game of the year, and I didn't start my first one until October for the exact same reason you had just said, Brian, is that early on I'm looking for the money and the lines to level out, and it may be a little bit more difficult. But, yeah, it's a tough racket. I mean, this isn't an easy game because if people didn't have to work, if they could just bet on these games, there'd be no gambling.
Right. See, guys, Brian, since day one on this show, we've had tutorials on teasers, sharp bettors. Here's Chip, another guy just like us, contrarian, watches line moves, goes against the public. You got to have a feel for this. It's not just all about look at the math and rushing yards and stats.
Right.
There's a feel for this. But Chip, but before we go, because I can't wait to hear about your, your what I would say not legacy, but like your whole career with Wayne Root, with Ness, with Feist. But before we do that, now Chip, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, right now I have my own site is called Chip Wins. ChipWins.com, and you can receive my selections every day. I post usually 3 games. I give you a chance to win. I'll always be an odd number. It'll be 3 or 1, or possibly on a Saturday you'll get 5 selections. And you log on, follow the buy links, and I'm at ChipWins.com. There'll be a free play there every day.
So there you go, folks. Later on, we're going to have his Twitter and his Facebook up on the thing. All right, so Chip, this is I couldn't wait to ask you because one of my friends wanted he's a real Wayne Root fan, and he wanted me to ask you now, with your relationship and friendship with Wayne Root, how is that?
It's great. I mean, we talk probably more politics than we actually do sports because he's now on the political realm. But Wayne comes from the same point that I do in looking at these games, and he was from say lower socioeconomic conditions in Yonkers when he grew up, and same as I was under, and we seem to have a pretty close bond, and he's a straight guy. Wayne's a very straight guy. I mean, I can go out and party once in a while, and he would never do it.
Oh, cool.
He works hard. He's a real hard worker, and I know a lot of people are offended by say his confidence.
Right.
Right. Let me put it that way. But, I admire it. I like people that are strong and that believe in themselves. Exactly. And he does. And he has a lot of confidence. And when things, and he called me up Sunday night. He was so depressed because he lost both games on Sunday. And he goes, "What are we doing? What's going on?" And this other stuff. And I said, "Wayne, it's a day in the life in this business. We don't win every day. We don't win every game. Nobody does."
Exactly. So. Brian, tell us about it, huh, brother? Yeah.
Yes.
I would love to have him on the show one day.
Well, I think it's kind of difficult because he does his live show.
That's right.
And
that's right.
He does a lot of prep for that.
That's right.
So,
but we come back. So, Brian, now, I was going to ask you on today's card, we're going to have probably a play from Chip. I have one. I'm sure you're going to have one with Florida Rick that we're going to give out in the third segment. But I want to get back here to Chip. So now, after he gets started here in Old Vegas, because I've been here since 1964. Right now, we've just gotten to the late 80s. I want to see. So tell us about the flow. Like, were there ever hard times, bad times?
Well, yeah, at the beginning, it was really tough, and then I had. Like I said, I had gone to this party, and I met these people from ABC, and they sent me, and I started my own cable show in Manhattan. And from there, it took off. I think that the professor, Ed Horowitz from Long Island, and Mike Warren, and the people out here in Las Vegas were a little shook up that there was a gambling show, and they weren't a part of it. Wow. That it was coming out of New York. And they didn't like the idea that it was coming out of New York. So I did it 3 years I actually did a lot longer than that, but I did it syndicated with them for 3 years out of New York, and I was went national on the SPN network. And then we were butting heads. Feist saw what I was doing, so he went out and did his own show. Right. But we were butting heads. So, he made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and I've been out in Las Vegas. And Larry Ness was just a piece of work to be hanging out with every day. I mean, opening kickoff, somebody there'd be a holding penalty, and the game was over. You know, there, do you see what I mean? He'd be yelling, and I go, Larry, we got 59 minutes to go here. Come on, you know.
Oh, so that was his style.
Oh, yeah, he would pace up and down, and you know, one time we were supposed to go to dinner. We had like a double date, and with these beautiful women, and it was on a Sunday night, and he had a really bad day, and I can't go. He says, I can't do it. I can't. I says, come on, that's part of being. I mean, he would take it such to heart if he lost the game. Where, you know, it bothers me, of course, but you have to let it go. I mean, tomorrow we got to come up with another side.
Absolutely. You know, that's why I know the successful guys like you are still around. Some of the guys that weren't the real deal, you think that those guys, Chip, they just fade out? They finally just...
I think the marketing and maintaining a customer is very, very difficult. Jim Feist, my good buddy, sorry to have to reveal this, Jim, but he said eventually you bury any customer you have because sooner or later you're going to come and hit a bad streak. I mean, and that week the player doesn't know enough to cut back. They're always trying to double up to get at least even. And, you know, I sort of chuckled at it, you know, at him and being cynical, saying, oh, yeah, maybe you bury people. But we all do sooner or later. I mean, it's just the nature of the business.
Exactly. You know, but when we come back, Chip, that's exactly what we keep telling all of our listeners and our audience. We got great guys on the show that bet, but we want to tell them, listen, we're going to hit 57, 58, 56% for the year. You find your unit. Play that money. Yep. At the end of the year, you're 120 and 92, and we show a nice profit. You had a good time, but don't go chasing the weeks and never steam. That's what we always tell them. Never steam on that Sunday night game. Guys, we'll be right back. Fifth Street Sports, back in 3.
Where do you want to go on a vacation or honeymoon? The Caribbean, Europe, Hawaii, Mexico? How about Disney or a cruise? At Superior Cruise and Travel, we've got you covered. We'll assign you your own travel concierge. They'll help you design a custom vacation plan that you can't find online. And the service is completely free. You can't compare the value of this to any other online travel company. We can help you plan a custom vacation anywhere in the world. We even offer payment plans with no credit card required. Now you pay off your vacation on your time schedule. Call now and mention the promo code RADIO and save up to $500. Book your custom trip. Call Superior Cruise and Travel now and talk to one of the highest rated travel agencies in the country with a 5-star A+ online rating.
800-570-9631. 800-570-9631. 800-570-9631. That's 800-570-9631.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
Hey, it's Ron Barr. The new year is here, so what's your New Year's resolution? If you're planning to be healthier, it all starts with a good night's rest. Right now, MyPillow's Christmas special has been extended. When you go to MyPillow.com, you'll find the lowest price MyPillow has ever offered for their 4-pack. It includes free shipping. That's right, you heard me right, free shipping. You also will get their 60-day money-back guarantee that's been extended through March 1st. First, best price ever, free shipping, extended money-back guarantee, and a good night's sleep. What else do you need? So go to MyPillow.com, click on the Christmas special, and use promo code BARR. That's BARR. You'll get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Again, go to MyPillow.com, click on the Christmas special, and enter my promo code BARR. I have a MyPillow, and I love it. No neck or backache, just a nice, fitful sleep. So check it out, MyPillow.com, promo code BAR.
They're pretty funny.
All right, guys, back. Fifth Street Sports on Sports Byline USA, also on iHeartRadio, American Forces, Facebook, Twitter. We have Oklahoma Brian on the phone because Oklahoma Brian has I think the phone line dropped. He had a real busy day in Tulsa, bad area, bad reception, so we're not able to. We're having a little bit of difficulty with Oklahoma Brian, but we got Chip Chirimbes in the house, and Chip. So now during the break we got some stuff in from our Fifth Street Social. They were asking about, is it McCusker?
Mike McCusker. He started monitoring sports services, right? And publishing the results week in and week out. But he would only publish it at the end of the year. And it was funny. He exposed a lot of scam people, like, he was talking about Mike Warren. Mike Warren made more money with Madame Cleo on those 900 numbers than he ever did in the sports industry. Oh, I'll tell you that. And Mike Warren had a huge printing. He owned a print shop, a huge print shop, and he had a deal with with Congress or wherever, where he would print whatever they said on the floor. And he had the job of recreating and printing it for the government. So he had a real solid foundation. He had a lot of money.
So McCusker was more or less like a sports watchdog. I mean, a sports.
He tried to do that. He didn't quite know how to get it done. And the sad part about Mike was that he was just, I think he started as just to be a gambler. He was originally a sports writer, I think, out of Seattle. He moved here, and he got involved in an incredible scam himself, and where he put up like $30,000 or something, along $50,000, and they ripped him off. And here's a guy that's exposing scams that got involved in a scam. He went in Nevada to the Attorney General, and they said, "There's nothing we can do about what you did," because he sent his money to Mexico. And he stood on the Capitol steps in Reno, or Carson City, wherever the Capitol is in Nevada.
Carson City.
Carson City, right?
Right.
He went to Carson City, to the Capitol building, and shot himself in the chest.
He did?
Yeah, and they arrested him for discharging a firearm in public. So he ended up having to go to jail. But
was that intentional?
No. It was his protest. It was his manner of protest.
Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then he ended up going to jail after that, and I haven't heard from him since. But I told him, I said, update this thing continuously. Doing it once a year and trying to sell it once a year when people need the information now. Who's hot now?
Right.
This is like these websites that we're on now. They have a running tabulation. And when you're hot, you're on top, and when you're not, someone else is on top.
Right.
So,
Brian, you remember one of the first things that we taught, or not taught? One of the first things that we talked about in the first shows was on money management.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so when Chip is telling you about eventually most of these guys get buried. Isn't it the same thing that when we would be like 50, 58, 59% for the year, and then the guy would talk to us and say, "I lost money"?
Yeah.
That's because your famous thing.
Yeah.
Remember you used to teach about the Sunday night games? They had the most action of all.
Yep.
They had there used to be an NHL hockey game that they would play in Vancouver on Super Bowl Sunday night, and I think it had the largest handle of any regular season hockey game by far for years, because it was the get even game for a lot of sickos.
Right, and then you always mention the Sunday night baseball game during the season, right?
Yeah, that was big.
Yep. Those are always great contests, because it draws in a lot of public money, and you're always hoping to get a chance to have one-sided public action. Yeah. I got a question for Chip. As you were kind of mentioning a bunch of these old services from the 80s and 90s, I remember there was one guy, I think he was based out of Birmingham, and the service was called the Consensus, and he used to kind of aggregate the picks of every possible town service he could, and he would kind of present them as one, kind of snapshot. And I know he was shut down, but over the years, that's kind of been a legal question that's always, I think, been unresolved. I don't think it's ever really been tested in the courts.
Well,
this idea of go ahead.
No, okay. I hate to cut you off, Brian, but I can tell you exactly what happened to me with this. As they were releasing our games on the consensus, and we thought it was copyright infringement, and we hired a lawyer in New York, and we went after these people, and it cost me like $30,000, and the whole thing came down to, can you prove that him posting my games shows a financial loss for me? And we couldn't establish that. I mean, we were just young, and we were making more money now than we had been previously, so we couldn't establish that he had infringed on us. And it really didn't work. But the consensus services, I think they've pretty much gone by the wayside unless you log on to some of these. There's Capper Access, and there's a couple of sites which will list the newsletters and other people's games. They do. But the only thing that annoys me about it more than anything, Brian, is when they put out a game and they don't put out the side I have. Sometimes they will just, for expediency's sake, maybe not have my game, but put out a game that they anticipate that might be my game. And that annoys me. If you're going to get it right. You know, if you're going to rip me off, rip off my game. Don't rip off my name. No, that happened a lot. That happened a lot because they would post games, and I'd call these guys to go, listen, what are you doing? You're giving me Pittsburgh. I got Philadelphia here. So let's get it straight. But it didn't work. These consensus services are out there, and you know, I always thought it was a big thorn in our side, and we had to combat it. But I think I haven't paid too much attention to it of late, honestly, Bri.
So Frank was telling me a pretty funny story this morning. I don't know where the information came from, but it was a prop bet that bookmaker.com or Chris, put up last night on the I heard it would have been 2 nights ago on the Oval Office speech from the president. It was a over/under on lies, and Frank, go ahead and share that.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's exactly what I thought. Because when I got the info today from one of our residents here, Chris, okay, so the prop was over/under lies 3.5, and obviously it said they lost $276,724 to the prop because everybody bet over, and it said it landed on 6 lies. First thing I asked Chris was the same thing that Brian did and the same thing you did. How do you grade this?
Yeah, how do you determine?
Yeah.
I mean, if I had a Republican counting them or a Democrat counting them, there'd certainly be a discrepancy in that number.
Oh, absolutely. But, Brian, when is a lie official? You know how, like, when you're doing the stats on props and it becomes official either on ESPN or the Associated Press, how do you make a lie official? Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think they decided to use some kind of, media outlet, and I agree that there probably was a little bit of bias in the in the instrument that they're using to grade it. But I think the bigger question or the bigger mystery is, how do we know they lost anything on this? Because my guess is they were probably taking $200 a bet, and I just wonder, how many times are we going to fall for this trick? I feel like, bookmakers in England have been doing this for 40, 50 years, and now you're starting to see, North American-facing bookmakers do this, where they come up with this absurd story about how much money they lost last weekend or last night, and by doing that, they're able to inject themselves into the news cycle, and you got guys like us talking about them creating free advertising.
Maybe that's it, trying to get in the news cycle. But I can't see how you could determine that.
I think so.
Yeah, and then it's even like Brian said, if it's got a $200 wager at Bookmaker, which is Chris Sports, and they're taking $200 a pop, they're going to move it 8, 10, 12 cents a pop. Yeah. I mean, to lose $276,000, what were they laying, like minus 6,000 at the end?
I can't believe that was an actual proposition. I mean, I find that hard to believe, Brian. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I really find that difficult to gather. I mean,
hey, but
it was. I believe it was out there. I just think they probably lost about 2,000 on it.
It's very subjective.
This will be a great.
Hey,
yeah,
Brian.
I did see the bet up.
Okay.
Yeah, you know how like today usually you come in, but we're having audio troubles from where we're at. obviously we only have an hour a day, but we're on 5 days a week, and I would really love to, because Chip's got some interesting stories. I'd really like to have Chip on, especially when you're on the TV, and so is Florida Rick. Because Chip, I think we could make for 3 or 4 shows with you. I mean, an hour goes so fast.
Yeah. No, I'm ready. I'm ready anytime.
Okay, so Chip will be back on with us. Brian, wouldn't you love to hear some of these stories with Mike Warren? And I didn't even know that. I feel bad for the guy because I had heard he was a good guy. I didn't know he shot himself.
No, that was McCusker that shot himself at McCusker. Mike Warren got involved. He got tax evasion. He actually did, I think, 13 months in a federal facility. That was from the 900 numbers, the Clio stuff. Right. But I got some. Mike Warren came in to do a radio show with me in Manhattan that I used to do at 11 o'clock on a Friday night, and he wore makeup. And I said to him, I think I hurt his feelings a little bit, and I said, Mike, you have a face for radio. You don't need makeup, and he wasn't too happy with that.
Yeah, because we got some great things that we could share with Chip. All right, so Brian, we got about maybe 3 or 4 minutes before we got to going into our last break. Has Florida Rick sent us anything on NBA or college?
Yeah, I have some. I have some plays from him.
Well, let's bust him out, brother.
He has tonight. All right, he's got 2 college plays, 2 NBA plays. I actually agree with him on one college play. I'm actually opposite on the other. He has Tulsa, game 6-12, taking 6.5. Now, he's got a good line. The game's moved in his direction. I laid 6 on Cincinnati this morning, so I don't know what to do with that.
Tulsa's undefeated at home this year, I think, 8-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. This is just a big step up in class for Tulsa playing Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's coming off of a really miserable performance against East Carolina.
Yep.
I'd like to see Tulsa. Love to see them get this win. I think they're going to be overmatched, but Rick likes them, and Rick's been pretty hot lately.
I use them.
The other game is a college basketball game that we match on, and that's UCLA plus 3.5.
They're playing Oregon, right?
What's the game number on that? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. At Oregon, it's game 645.
Okay, so 645. You match with Florida Rick on UCLA plus 3.5, but you're opposed on the Tulsa Cincinnati. So those are the kind that I stay away from because when you guys are too good. When you guys oppose, I pass. What about his NBA?
Now the NBA is where he's really made his money this year, and I don't oppose either one of his plays. He has 537 Boston minus 2.5, and 542 the Spurs plus 1.5.
Spurs plus 1.5. Okay, so everybody, I take note of that. Now we got Chip in here because we're going to have him on as a guest several times because we got to hear all these stories. Chip, we got about 30 seconds before the last break. Do you got anything for the folks here tonight?
Well, I did use the Tulsa side. Okay. And the Oklahoma City at San Antonio I didn't use, but I was very, very San Antonio all of a sudden is playing good basketball. They won like 14 out of 17, and yet they're an underdog at home in this situation. That sort of drew my attention as why isn't San Antonio favored at home, other than the fact they did play last night on the road and got beat. And in the NBA, I happen to like the Miami Heat, which is against Rick's big play. I'm against the Boston Celtics. I took 3 and 3.5 this morning.
Wow, guys, there's the music. Guys, we got to take a timeout. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Oklahoma Brian, Chip Chirimbes, I'm Frank Perez. Stay tuned. We're going to recap the show.
Attention business owners. Now is the perfect time to start saving money on your cable TV bill for your business. We can give you packages with up to 90 great channels and save your business a ton of cash. And if you call right now, you can learn how to get free equipment and free installation. Now you have choices. It's time to start saving money on your cable TV bill for your business. And call today and get 90 channels plus free equipment and free installation. Smart business owners like you all across the country are consolidating and saving money on their cable TV, internet, and phone service for their business. So now's the perfect time. This may be a limited time offer to the first 100 people that call right now. So please save money and call now.
800-470-7113. 800-470-7113. 800-470-7113. That's 800-470-7113.
Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
All right, folks, we're back. Fifth Street Sports. We've had the time goes so fast. In between the breaks, I just asked Chip to come back on a few times because we love to hear these old Vegas gambling stories. You know, the times in the trenches when, you know, how we all had those bad moments or good moments and startup stuff. But up here on Fifth Street Sports, we're going to put our contact here, how you can get a hold of Chip. Good stuff, guys. He's been in the business 31 years. There it is, guys. www.chipwins.com. You can also find him on Facebook. I don't quite have his Facebook or his Twitter, but I'm sure you can get it from chipwins.com. Chip, thanks a lot for coming on the show. And we're going to, we've especially when Oklahoma Brian and Florida Rick are on the TV with us where you can see them and talk.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. We'll have some interaction.
We would love to have you back on the show so we can get into a lot of these stories. Everybody wants to hear about Ness, Feist, Wayne Root, all the boys.
I got a few others too, believe me. Mike Warren came to, and we'll save this for another time, but Mike Warren came to New York, and it was quite a show.
Oh, good.
Quite a show.
Good.
He tried to run away with my girlfriend.
Yeah, hey, Brian, so you did hear it towards the end of the thing that he opposed Florida Rick on the Boston game, right? I guess Brian left us. Huh? Okay, Brian, I guess Brian's... Oh yeah, okay. So Chip opposes us, but we're gonna stick with Florida Rick because he's too hot right now. If we got to pick somebody, but we respect Chip, and
3-0 in the NBA last night, Frank.
Well, you know what? I mean, you gotta
happens once in a while.
Maybe we'll downgrade it to a one half a unit play or something. So Brian, recap really quickly. What were the plays again that you and Rick came up with?
So Florida Rick has Tulsa, and that's a match with Chip. That's game 6-12. You can currently get them at 6.5. It opened 5.5. So you got a little bit of value over the opener. Rick matched with me on 6:45 UCLA plus 3.5 against Oregon, and then he had in the NBA 5:37 Boston, 5:42 San Antonio.
There we go, guys. Guys, we hear the music. That means it's toward the end of the show. We've had Chip Chirimbes, Oklahoma Brian. I'm Frank Perez. We appreciate you. Thanks for watching and listening to Fifth Street Sports. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. You can also find us also on iHeartRadio and Sports Byline USA and SB Nation Radio. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Have a great and safe day.